We're now going to convert this letterbox into an isometric drawing. So this orthogonal drawing has given us a front view, a top view and a right hand view. So this here will be our front corner. If you're given a little arrow, say here, you're going to have to make that as your front corner. So really just read the question carefully. Now I don't have any information in terms of changing the scale, so I'm going to keep the scale as close to 1:1 on this printout as possible. So we'll start by measuring this, 50 mil by 30 millimeters. Start by drawing the corner facing you first. I just draw a vertical line that's bigger than what I need. And I go back in after, measure it off with two little lines. I draw my left-hand side bigger than what I need. I go back and I measure that at 50 mil. And I rule a vertical line, keeping my set square on the base of that page as a guide. Remember, if you're working at the top of the page, you'll need to draw a baseline across. So 75 mil for the right hand side of the object. Making sure that we're keeping those measurements as accurate as possible and our lines as neat as possible. Good thing about isometric drawing, if you measure one point, all of the other points will come together. So now I have that information. As long as I keep that line going across the back exactly at 30 degrees, I don't need to do any more measuring. I'm often flipping my set square around trying to get the right angle, but as long as I'm working with that 30 degrees, I know I won't have any problems. We definitely don't want to get confused and use the 60 degrees. So that's the base of the letterbox. Now, if I want to put in this post here, what I need to do first is actually imagine that this isometric crate is see-through. And I can see from this top view, see those dotted lines? That tells me that the hidden information of this post is that it is a square and that it is in the very center of the base. So I'm actually going to rule a couple of lines really lightly so that I can see where the center point will be. I'm just going to measure that base. That's all 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. What I might do is just find the center, 2.5 mil there. And half of 75. Oh gosh, that's getting a little bit difficult for me to work out, so I might just measure. So 32.5, 32.5. Okay, so I have the top of the post, and what I can do then is just roll vertical lines down. I might not even be able to see much of this post at all. if I measure it, I'm just going to call that 250. So I go measure down from here, down 250. Oh, I can just see a tiny little bit of it. There we go. Now I can actually rub out a lot of this information. The next thing I'm going to do is actually draw in this section here, which is the slot to put your letters into. So going 5mm by 5mm by 5mm from the edge, so that's not too hard to measure. So rule your lines in first, and then you can go back and measure them off. So now, in order to be really clever, what I would actually do, because you can actually see in, I would actually draw, see how there's that imaginary back line? I would actually draw that in there like that. Right, now we need to put this hollow cylinder pipe thing that goes all the way across the top into place. Now, if we measure the diameter, we're going to basically draw the front of this as a crate. Okay, it's 25mm. So if I find the center point, here, and what I can do is actually rule that X sort of up into the sky, and I just need to find the center of where that 25mm imaginary crate would be, which would be half of 25 is 12.5, just there, and I draw that in as an X. And I get my isometric ellipse template. I find the 25mm diameter ellipse, and I make sure I've highlighted those little angled lines just there. I line it up as absolutely carefully as I can. Now I'm actually going to make a little mark here and here, because what I want to do is actually measure across the exact distance of the exact depth, which is 75, sorry. So if I go from that top point 75mm that way, that should give me my exact depth of that cylinder. So 75, 75. And what I can do, as long as I then line up with this point, so the two halfway points, I will get the exact correct angle to the back of that cylinder. So if I make that a bit darker, you should be able to see what I've done. It actually has a smaller concentric circle in there, which has a diameter of 18, which I have that one there. So I'm just going to mark in my corner lines just there. Line them up with the X that we already have. And there we have our isometric letterbox. And what I would do then is I would darken up the lines that I know are correct and are visible if I have time. And I would erase, if I have time, in an exam situation, any lines that would not normally be seen in this object. There you have, that's your isometric letterbox with a cylinder. That was quite a difficult task, but it is at Unit 4 exam level. So the assessor with this task is looking that you understand hidden detail is shown with dashed lines, and that how to draw ellipses at the correct angle, and that this target symbol means that something is a cylinder. And there we have it, an isometric letterbox.